Magical Watch, German fairy tale. It was a long time ago. A widow lived near a high mountain on the edge of a poor village. Her name was Martha. Martha didn't like people. Even the children annoyed her with their shouting and commotion. Martha loved only her goat Snow White and her cheerful kid. One evening, Martha sat on the porch and knitted a sock. Suddenly, she heard the conversation of two peasant women. "Did you hear, Elsa? Pestilence fell on livestock. Many people already died." "I heard, Louisa. How is it possible not here? It's scary for our goats." Martha looked after them and her heart sank. Suddenly the latch of the gate rang. Martha turned and saw a neat old man. "Good afternoon, Frau Martha," said the old man. "What a beautiful house you have. It's just that you are too quiet. Even if some bird is singing or the clock is ticking." When Martha heard about the clock, she remembered that she had an antique clock. Only it stopped a long time ago. "Are you a watchmaker?" Martha asked. "Yes, I am a real watchmaker," the old man vowed. Martha invited the old man to the house. She took out a watch from the chest and showed it to the craftsman. On the second day, the clock was ticking merrily on the white wall in Martha's room. The watchmaker didn't take money from Martha, and she thanked him with delicious coffee. Meanwhile, the plague was spreading and everyone in the village was very worried about their goats. One day, Martha went to the forest to collect brushwood. She quickly collected a large bundle of brushwood and returned to the familiar path home. But the trail suddenly disappeared. To her right, Martha saw a tree felled by a thunderstorm. To her left, a large stone. There was neither stone nor tree here before. Suddenly, there was a slight puff of smoke, and Martha went in the direction where the smoke was coming from. She saw a burning fire, near which the old watchmaker was sitting. "Good evening," he said. "Please have dinner with me." "Thank you, I can't," said Martha, "because I want to get home before sunset." Then the master invited her to his den. Martha found herself in a small room. In one corner she saw a pile of dry leaves, and in the other a dried-up fire. A large stump stood in the middle of the room. A large clock hung on the wall. Houses were drawn on the dial instead of numbers. Martha recognized her village in these houses. "Here is her house." The black hand of the clock is pointed straight at her. "These arrows mean joy and sorrow. Red is joy, it rarely moves, and the black one is sorrow," explained the watchmaker. "Why is the black one moving towards my house?" Martha asked. "Frau Martha, your Snow White will die." "And why her? It's not fair." She went to the clock and moved the hand to the teacher's house. "He doesn't have a goat, he only has a cat. If the cat dies, it is not a great grief, and Martha looked back at the watchmaker, but there was no watchmaker, but only brushwood behind her shoulders and a familiar path ahead. The next day in the morning, Martha put on a black dress and went to the teacher. The teacher's wife invited Martha to the room. "Why are you so sad, Frau Gertrude?" Martha asked. "Our cat got sick." "Then take another kitten." "No, our cat cannot be replaced. My sick daughter cries all the time." "Tell your daughter that the cat will live," said Martha and left. In the evening she went to the forest, found the watchmaker's hut, and entering a familiar room pointed the arrow at the basket maker's house. "The basket maker has no goat, he only has a dog." "Can you compare a dog with a goat?" Martha thought. Early in the morning, Martha ran to the basket maker. She saw a poor room, an unpainted table on which stood an unfinished basket and a sharp knife. The blind basket maker was kneeling in the corner and stroking the dog's head with a trembling hand. "What's wrong with you, my friend? Don't let me down, because it's time for us to go to the bazaar. Don't even think about getting sick." Martha coughed. The old man turned his head towards her. "Who is here?" "It's me, Martha." "What's wrong with your dog, neighbor?" "My assistant is dying." "I'll wave the baskets, load them on his back, and I'll grab the collar myself, and the dog will lead me to the bazaar. I cannot live without him, Frau Martha." Martha felt sorry for the old man. She could hardly wait for the evening, and as the sun began to set, she went on a familiar path. Martha approached the clock and moved the hand to the house of the spoonmaker. "The spoonmaker has 2 goats. One is enough for him," Martha thought. In the morning, Martha took a bucket and went to fetch water. Suddenly, she heard a child crying. The little son of the spoonmaker was crying. Martha looked at the window. "Good afternoon, Frau Marie. Why are you scolding your son?" "Goat Snow Maiden is sick. She doesn't give milk, and this wretch does not want to drink sweet water." "But you have 2 goats." "The milk from the second goat is for sale. We cannot live without it." Martha took the crying boy to her. She gave him milk from Snow White, gave him colorful scraps and boxes, and soon the baby was laughing merrily. And in the evening, Martha went to the forest and entered the watchmaker's hut. She stood in front of the clock for a long time. Then she took the black arrow and moved it to her house. Snow White died in the morning. The basket maker came to Martha first. "Don't cry, Frau Martha. We will all help you." Then the son of Spoonmaker came running. "Frau Martha, our Snow Maiden will feed your kid, and you will have a goat again." Then the teacher's wife came. "Don't cry, Frau Martha. Let's go to us." My daughter recovered from joy because our cat is healthy. "Why do you sit here alone?" Martha smiled. She understood how good, how joyful it is to live one life with everyone.